into Fantasy Baseball today on Monday, May 11th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White and Chris Towers. A happy Mother's Day to all the great moms out there, including mine. Hope you all had a great day. Today on the show, we had some big pitcher returns this weekend. Rodon, Snell, Lodolo, we'll talk about that. Waiver wire ads, starter sit decisions. But there's only one place to start. More prospects. That's right. Fabageddon this weekend, as we learned on Friday that Ryan Waldschmidt promoted by the Dbacks. We also got that in conjunction with Spencer Jones coming up to the Yankees. Robby Snelling made his major league debut as well. So let's start with Ryan Waldschmidt, who got called up this weekend and in the minors was hitting .289, 3 homers, 6 steals, and .877 OPS. And they DFA'd Alec Thomas. My guess is Ryan Waldschmidt should play a bunch here. So lots of big fab bids already. Scott, what are your expectations here for Ryan Waldschmidt?
Well, I'm excited about Ryan Waldschmidt. I have a hard time developing expectations for any prospect call-up these days because it does feel like it's a bit more hit or miss. But Ryan Waldschmidt is an exciting prospect who had a very big spring and hit a ton of balls really hard that spring. Actually, I think he had several balls hit harder this spring than he had during his time at AAA. His hardest at AAA was 111.5, but my point is just we've seen him hit the ball harder than that. So the exit velocities are solid. The on-base skills are incredible. Great walker and somebody who doesn't chase like at all, which sometimes can lead to more strikeouts, but prior to AAA, that hadn't really been an issue. So I'm not expecting him to be a big source of strikeouts, at least once he gets acclimated. There's power, there's speed. It's kind of the whole package. And I was a lot more excited about picking up Ryan Waldschmidt than Spencer Jones, both because I like the profile more and also because they just ditched their center fielder to get this guy on the roster. So you got to think there's a lot of job security there that Spencer Jones doesn't have. I think that might be the most appealing part of Ryan Waldschmidt to me.
Yeah, I think even if Spencer Jones is pretty good, he might not stick, right? Like it's just, there just might be a roster crunch when Stanton and, potentially Jason Dominguez are healthy. Waldschmidt, I think he's going to get a lot of run. And if he's good, he's definitely going to stick around. So if nothing else, even if these were very similar prospects, and to be clear, they are not, Ryan Waldschmidt is like pretty much a consensus top 50 guy. Spencer Jones, for all the hype, has not been a top 100 prospect basically since before the 2024 season. So, since before.
But were you guys seeing the same thing in the 15 teamers? Like the bids there?
I saw the bids were way bigger for Waldschmidt everywhere.
Okay, maybe I just had a fluke league where Spencer Jones went for a ton, and I was like, really? Because it wasn't in
was
terms
like 50,
of the
60
bids I was entering. I mean, I was entering bids for Waldschmidt like 4 to 6 times as big as I was putting in for Jones, and I got a couple of Waldschmidt. I didn't get any of Jones. Yeah.
So what I saw a lot of this weekend with where Fab has already run is Waldschmidt was like 16 to 20% of Fab budgets, and then I saw Spencer Jones was like 5 to 7%, usually in that range. And we actually got him in the Beat FBT League for $24, which 12 team
2.4%.
Yeah. So 12 team, Roto, 5 outfielders. So just basically any outfielder that has any upside, you're adding in a league like that. So was seeing much higher bids here on Ryan Waldschmidt. Speaking of Spencer Jones, by the way, he did.
Well, let me just add, I did not enter a bid for even Waldschmidt in the 3 outfielder leagues. Maybe if I was really hurting an outfield, I would have. But I'm not so confident in how he's going to perform that I wanted him taking up a bench spot, was basically what I reasoned. I'd rather use that on a 2-star pitcher like a Peter Lambert or a Jeffrey Springs, somebody like that. So didn't go quite that aggressively for Waldschmidt, but it's certainly in the 5 outfielder leagues I did.
But theoretically, if he does what we expect, his profile should play out pretty well in a points league, right? With the OBP and power.
Like if he is as good as he could be, then yeah, absolutely. If he's as good as he could be, then we're He's probably a top 30, top 25 outfielder next year.
Mm-hmm. So Spencer Jones, he did start all 3 games for the Yankees, even Saturday against the lefty, which I was pretty surprised by. But, I mean, the poor kid. First game on Friday, he has to face Misiorowski, who's throwing 104 miles per hour. It was just insane stuff. Spencer Jones did pick up his first hit on Sunday. He went 1 for 4 with the RBI single. Ryan Waldschmidt, by the way, 2 for 4 with 3 RBI on Sunday. So nice game for him right away there. We already said we would take Waldschmidt over Spencer Jones. Would you take Waldschmidt ahead of all of the other most added outfielders right now? So guys like J.J. Bleday, Brandon Marsh, Zach Geloff, Ezekiel Duran, Sam Antonacci. Would you take Waldschmidt over all those?
Yes. I think maybe Bleday, I think, is pretty interesting, but I don't think he's an everyday guy. Sam Antonacci, he's starting to run a little more. But I think Waldschmidt's a better player than all of them. So I would take him ahead of them. Like Brandon Marsh, I mean, I know he's hitting 330. He hit 280 last year, but it was like, I think he had like 100 combined runs in RBI.
He's playing more. He's
playing more, but I also think that's going to eventually hurt his batting average. He has like a 420 BABIP right now. So I think I'd rather take the flyer on Waldschmidt. If I miss, I don't think any of those guys are really guys I'm going to miss in the long run. Waldschmidt might be.
Mm-hmm. And then Robby Snelling made his debut on Friday against the Nationals. 5 innings, 3 runs, 4 walks to 2 strikeouts. First inning was not good for him. You could tell nerves were there. But he had 12 whiffs on 86 pitches. He used 5 different pitches, so like diverse pitch mix. Chris, what did you see here from Robby Snelling? Was he available in any of your leagues where you saw fab bids run already?
Yes. He was available in... Was he available in my Tout Wars? Actually, I don't think he was. I think he was already stashed. I don't think Snelling was.
I think you told me he went for like 250.
Okay, yeah, that was the one then. Okay, I think it was like 256. I thought he looked good, results aside, which I know will make people roll their eyes, but when you're trying to predict moving forward, I don't think you look at the results of any individual start and draw conclusions from them. You look at the process, and I saw a fastball that he could get up to 97 miles per hour with up to 21 inches of induced vertical break. It looks like a good pitch, and he got strikeouts on the slider, the curveball, and the changeup. And I think he's good. I think this is going to work. It's not a guarantee. Talented pitchers fail all the time, but I think Robby Snelling definitely is a talented pitcher and someone who does need to be rostered in 100% of leagues. Now, if both Logan Henderson and Robby Snelling were available, I would have a genuinely hard time figuring out who I think is better. But I think I would still give Snelling the edge, just because I feel better about the playing time. I feel better about the role. The Brewers hopefully they just embrace him and let him go, 130 innings the rest of the way, but I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to do that. So that's my only concern. If you told me Logan Henderson was going to be in the lineup or the rotation the rest of the season, he might be a top 50 starting pitcher for me.
I was encouraged by Snelling's performance too. I was worried about the control coming in. He had 4.7 walks per 9 in those 6 AAA starts, and control was a problem here. But that seemed like the only problem, which, he got a good number of swinging strikes, had a good percentage there, even though he had only the 2 strikeouts. He had the 5 pitches that he threw at least 8% of the time. I thought it was going to be mostly fastball, curveball, and considering he was having trouble getting whiffs from AAA players with just those 2 pitches, I worried that he was going to be kind of exposed in the majors in that regard. So a fuller arsenal than I was expecting, more whiffs than I was expecting. The controls maybe you could attribute to nerves. Maybe it's going to be a recurring issue like it's been for Bubba Chandler, but I think it at least showed enough Robby Snelling that if I picked him up, I'm sticking with it for now.
Mm-hmm. And Snelling up to 67% rostered in CBS, so still out there in, a third of CBS leagues, so some shallower formats. While this start wasn't great, still does have a ton of upside, and I would agree, Chris. I think I would take Snelling over Logan Henderson, too, for the exact reasons that you mentioned. Just I don't know if the Brewers like Logan Henderson as much as we do, and that might be the biggest issue for him. Before we get to our first break, let's do one collective player of the weekend.
Is this happening? It is!
Is Spencer Strider back? Is it happening? He was great at the Dodgers, 6 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts, 15 whiffs on 91 pitches, 7 on the slider, 5 on the fastball. Fastball up around 1 mile per hour from his first start. Average 96.4. The induced vertical break up an extra inch to 17 inches here. So I thought it was a pretty encouraging outing against a really, really good Dodgers lineup. Scott, what'd you see here from Spencer Strider? How encouraged are you actually?
I did not expect the start to go well, and it went really well. So I am encouraged. And let's see how sticky it is. You know, he had starts like this last year too, and obviously the final line wasn't one we were happy with. He did all the things we would like to see him do. He did all the things he needs to do, I think, to have a bounce-back season. Getting the velocity and the induced vertical breakup on that fastball, the slider, which he didn't show much in his previous start at Colorado, maybe just because it was at Colorado. But his slider was great. The curveball, remember, that was a surprise in Colorado. He threw it 31% of the time, back down to 11% in this one start. So he kind of
still up,
but much more of like a show me pitch than I'm integrating this as a new weapon into my arsenal. But it could help. So I think it was as encouraging as you could hope for his first non-Coors Field start. Obviously, the weirdness of Coors made it hard to assess. This was great, and he did it against a great lineup. And I think if you stashed him this time, you have real hope at this point. But I'm not ready to draw any firm conclusions.
Yeah, I think the way I would put it is, if this is the best we get from Spencer Strider, then it's probably a lot like last year, where it's just going to be frustrating and he's not going to be great, right? Like if this is the best his stuff looks, I guess, because performance fluctuates. But, you know, if the best his stuff looks is 96.4 miles per hour and a 17-inch induced vertical break, that's good, but probably not enough to make Spencer Strider an ace again. If this is typical of what we can expect moving forward, where there will be even better, where the stuff looks even better, then I think you can start to get excited. Right now, I think the best and most actionable thing we can say about Spencer Strider is it doesn't look like the worst case scenario. He doesn't look unusable. What the next few starts will tell us is what the ranges start to look like. I think Coors Field, I said it at a time, it just tells you, from an analytical perspective, it just tells you nothing. And so we kind of have to throw that one out. And it's just a question of, did we see a baseline for Spencer Strider? Did we see a median outcome? Did we see a high-end outcome? I tend to think it's probably more like a high-end outcome, and it's going to be frustrating like it was last year. But we saw a couple of his starts on his rehab assignment where the movement and the velocity were up on the fastball in a way that hadn't really happened since before the injury. So I'm very moderately encouraged.
And the overall stuff plus metric for this second start for Spencer Strider was at 104. Last year, it was 95 for the season. So I think it's only one start, very small sample, but I think that's encouraging. Before he had surgery, he was 107, 117, 117, 109. So usually among the top of the league in terms of stuff plus, but only one star, but I thought it was a good sign there. The stuff being up there for Spencer Strider. Big thanks to everyone watching live. We appreciate you being here. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have over 500 people here watching live, only like 30 or 40 likes. So hit that like button, help us out. Let's take that break, and we'll be back right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ hits every highlight from all the sports that matter to you.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, streaming free 24/7.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball. Today, let's hit the news and notes. We have a lot of injury updates, some decisions to make on lineups, Cole Ragans was officially placed on the IL Friday with a left elbow impingement retroactive to May 7th. Chris, did you at all look into the timelines here for right elbow impingement?
Yes. I looked at the Baseball Prospectus recovery dashboard tool, and look, this is one of those injuries where do they always say this specific diagnosis, or do they just say elbow soreness? I don't know, but they have 21 pitchers who dealt with an elbow impingement. 8 returned within 4 weeks, and another 4 were back within 6 weeks. So most pitchers who have an elbow impingement return in about a month and a half or less. The ones who don't, it's more like 2 or 3 months. And it's a wide range because I think it's one of those issues where it more depends on what the underlying problem is. And that's what we don't know right now. There was some talk that he wasn't going to go on the IL. Maybe they're hopeful he can miss the minimum. I would be pretty skeptical of that. But yeah, there were a handful of guys who came back after 20 or so days.
Well, they were calling it something else of the last time we recorded, right? They were calling it, what were they calling it?
Valgus overload extension.
Pitcher's
elbow.
Yeah.
Pitcher's elbow.
But pitcher's elbow
is
is kind of just like a catch-all term for a bunch of different things that come about from pitching, but not necessarily having like an acute injury, is my understanding. So this gives us a little more detail, I guess.
So they classified it more specifically.
Yeah, but even then, I think impingement is still a fairly...
I'm trying to think of the word in like biology when you go through, okay, kingdom, phylum.
Yeah, the hierarchy of...
but what is that process called of like identifying an animal?
Phylum?
No, it's like a process. Had to do a bug collection. So in 9th grade, I had to do a bug collection, insect collection for my biology class. And I saw one I needed in my house. It was the night. It was the
taxonomy.
I had the TV on when I saw it. I saw it crawling on the chair. I was like, oh, I need to go get a jar and catch this because it's exactly what I need. And when I came back, I missed what I was waiting to see on the TV, which was Mark McGwire's 60-second home run.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
I ran around my house when I saw that, when that happened. Not when you found the bug. Taxonomy would be the word.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Logan Webb was placed on the IL with right knee bursitis. It sounds like the Giants expect him back when first eligible, hopefully. Trevor McDonald was recalled to fill Logan Webb's void. I guess the 2 names that jump into the rotations here, Trevor McDonald and Stephen Kolek. Do we have any deep league interest in those guys?
I don't see much reason to be excited about either now. McDonald was pretty good in his last start, and he was good, right? It was like 8 strikeouts over 5 innings or something?
7. I think it was 7 innings of 1-run ball.
Yeah.
They're both ground ball guys, and so I could see them being useful in like a streamer sort of way, but even in my deeper leagues, I wasn't putting in any bids on McDonald or Kolek.
It's two start type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Which Kolek has 2 starts. Oh, they both have 2 starts right away. Still wasn't ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah, the matchups for Trevor McDonald at the Dodgers and in Sacramento against the Athletics. So
no, thank you.
Not great. The Dodgers placed Tyler Glasnow on the IL Friday with lower back spasms. They don't sound overly concerned about that one either. Garrett Crochet has resumed playing catch from 60 feet and is making progress in his strengthening program, but he won't return when first eligible here on Tuesday. Ronald Acuna went through pre-game agility drills on Friday. Walt Weiss said Acuna still has some boxes to check before he's potentially activated when first eligible on Wednesday. So still some moving parts here. In a weekly lineup league, would you guys just play it safe and not use Ronald Acuna just yet?
I'd lean that way, yeah.
Me too.
All right, Mookie Betts traveled back to L.A. on Sunday and could be activated on Monday. Do we start or sit Mookie Betts this week?
I think it's easier to start him, yeah.
I agree. In a non-roto league, you probably have a really good backup that you've been playing there, and so I might just stick with it in that case. But in roto leagues where you stretch deeper middle infield, probably start Betts.
Jeremy Pena is expected to start a rehab assignment Tuesday or Wednesday. Taj Bradley was placed in the IL with right pectoral inflammation. He was off to a great start, so some rough news there for Taj Bradley. Good news as Ben Rice returned on Friday, and he started all 3 games this weekend. We had a trade. Don't think it really matters at all. The Guardians acquired Patrick Bailey from the Giants in exchange for Tugboat, Matt Wilkinson, and the 29th pick in the 2026 first-year player draft. Bo Naylor was optioned to the minors. So basically the Guardians pick up Bailey. He should be their close to everyday catcher. And this just opens up more playing time for Jesus Rodriguez for the Giants. That's probably...
I think that does matter, yeah.
Yeah. So in 2-catcher leagues, I did have some bids in on Jesus Rodriguez, who I think has started every game but one so far. And he's played a game in right field, too.
Well, he was playing the outfield in AAA, too. So I would guess that's not going to happen very often now that they got rid of Patrick Bailey. But they clearly like him. They clearly want his bat in the lineup. And Buster Posey does not seem to have a lot of patience in waiting for things to get right on his team.
See, you'd think a catcher would appreciate the defensive standout at catcher more than a catcher who can hit, but apparently not. They got a nice return for Patrick Bailey, a guy they were giving up on.
I thought that was a lot, yeah.
I picked up Tugboat in the Scott White Dynasty leagues, off to a good start at AA. Could be a thing.
I will say, this is kind of a trade I just don't like for either team. Patrick Bailey's so marginal that
But they're getting Tugboat and they're getting a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I thought it was a good return for them too.
It was fine. Yeah,
when I saw the breaking pop up from Jeff Passan, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, what's happening?"
But I guess my thing is mostly just I think it's the impatience on Buster Posey's part. This could end up being a pretty short-sighted move. Patrick Bailey's been like a 4-win player the last 3 years. It's just, if he's a 500 OPS bat, then yeah, you can't play him anyway, no matter how good his defense is. But
right.
You think Bo Naylor's in trouble?
I think he was already sent down, right?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I missed that. Okay.
And they already had 3 catchers on their roster, too, so that was weird for Cleveland.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole made another rehab start at AA on Sunday. 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, 8 strikeouts to 1 walk. From the highlights I saw from this start, it seemed like a lot of his fastballs were like 96, 97. I think he touched 98. So it's been slowly trending up. I think that's a good sign there for Garrett Cole. Probably needs 1 or 2 more rehab starts before he rejoins the Yankees. Hunter Green is up to 150 feet of long toss as part of his rehab program. The Reds are targeting late May for Green to throw a bullpen, and I think it's still pretty realistic for him to be back in the second half. That's my expectation there for Hunter Green. Bryce Miller will return Wednesday against the Astros. I don't think there's any way you should start him in that matchup because it's really tough lineup. But I think he should be rostered. I'm pretty interested based on what he's done in the minors on rehab. He's 61% rostered. The Mariners will go with a 6-man rotation this week, but it sounds like the plan after this is for Luis Castillo to piggyback Bryce Miller as a reliever the following week. So,
probably bad news for both.
Yeah, I think Luis Castillo could be dropped, which
he had another bad start this weekend.
Yeah.
Even the one and it's not clear who's piggybacking who's making the actual start, but I doubt in that scenario either one is going 6 innings and giving you a quality start. So
you'd probably rather have the second guy, at least from a fantasy perspective.
I don't think it's impossible though. If Bryce Miller's pitching well as the starter, he could go 6 and then Luis Castillo comes in for like the final 3.
And I just don't think that's likely to last very long either way. So it's just, if Bryce Miller pitches like 2024, I think he's going to be great either way. I think that solves itself. And his velocity's been up. His velocity was down last year when he suffered the elbow injury. He pitched very poorly, but I'm not much less excited about Bryce Miller than I am Logan Henderson or Robby Snelling. I think, those guys should go for a lot more in FAB, but I had multiple leagues where I put in bids for Bryce Miller if he was available just to see if he can bounce back and get back to 2024. I think it's unlikely. I think that was probably a career year for him, but I'm intrigued by Bryce Miller. I do think he should be rostered pretty much in all leagues right now.
Well, rank them, Chris. Snelling, Henderson, Bryce Miller.
I think that's the order I'd go in. Certainly that's the order in which I would bid on them on Fab, so I guess that's the way I would rank them, yeah.
Wilson Contreras left Sunday after getting hit by a pitch on his right hand. Initial scans came back negative. He'll get more tests on Monday. So in deeper leagues with corner infield spots, just be careful with Wilson Contreras. Pete Fairbanks is expected to return on Wednesday. Would you guys start Pete Fairbanks this week?
I mean, if I needed saves, yeah. If I had an alternative, probably not. Because A, he's just coming off injury. B, he wasn't pitching that well before the injury. C, the Marlins are kind of funny about their bullpen usage, and I still don't have a great read on how things are going to go with Fairbanks healthy.
The Giants optioned Ryan Walker to AAA on Sunday, so he's not the closer. Caleb Killian got the ninth with a 4-run lead on Friday. He allowed a run on a hit and 2 walks, but he does have their most recent save. Killian, a 150 ERA, 117 whip. My guess is he gets the next save opportunity, but Keaton Wynn has pitched well. They just had Yoel Peguero, I think that's his name, come off IL.
Peguero.
He throws really hard, so maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like the 3 times Yoel Peguero has appeared, it was a non-save chance, but it was the 9th inning, you know? So I feel like they probably are thinking of him as another high leverage arm, and it's interesting that the timing of the Ryan Walker demotion came with Peguero being activated from the IL. I agree that Caleb Killian probably gets the next chance, but I think it's going to remain kind of messy, maybe even messier without Walker, since he was the one who had the history in the role, and that kind of made him the obvious favorite in fantasy as long as he was in the mix.
Trevor Rogers threw a simulated bullpen on Saturday and is optimistic he'll make a start during the Orioles' upcoming series against the Yankees. I don't think I would want to use Trevor Rogers, who struggled before going on the IL, coming back from an illness against the Yankees. Agreed?
I don't love the matchup, yeah, but it's possible this could be a 2-start week for him. I don't know when they're, the series I think is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if it's Monday or Tuesday, that could work out. But yeah, I would lean towards not starting him against the Yankees. It looks like it'll probably be Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. So I think do the Orioles have? Let's see. They do not play on Thursday. So yeah. I think it would only be a 1-start week because they don't play Thursday. It's 6 games this week, and he starts on Tuesday. So, yeah.
Sounds right.
Tatsuya Imai will return Tuesday against the Mariners. That makes him a 2-star pitcher against the Mariners and Rangers this week. There's no way you could use Tatsuya Imai.
No, not with the control we've been seeing, which the issues there continued on the rehab assignment. I would like to continue to stash Imai because I just think it's too early. He hasn't gotten enough chances for us to really know what he's going to turn into on this side of the Pacific. But yeah, you can't start him yet, even with the 2-start status. Just too much downside risk.
All right, Jackson Holliday played third base in a rehab game at AA on Sunday. So trying to, I guess, earn some more flexibility there and move him around the diamond if they need that to happen. Shane Bieber will face live hitters on Tuesday, his first time doing so since the World Series. Kyle Teal could play in rehab games this week. He's 36% rostered, and I think someone you should be stashing in 2 catcher leagues. Jacob Wilson left Sunday with a left shoulder injury, so pay attention to him. Kerry Carpenter went on the IL with an AC joint sprain in his left shoulder. Brett Lauder is going on the IL with a shoulder strain. Addison Barger was scratched from the lineup Sunday due to right elbow soreness. Jorge Polanco's bruised right wrist has recovered nicely, but he's still dealing with left Achilles soreness. And Owen Casey was scratched Sunday with left tricep discomfort. We got some big pitcher returns this weekend. Nick Lodolo was up first on Friday against the Astros. Pretty tough landing spot here against this Astros lineup, but 5 1/3 innings, 4 runs, 2 strikeouts to 1 walk, 2 homers allowed, had 7 whiffs on 78 pitches. And He is 34% started. He's home against the Nationals this week, and they crush lefties. So, Chris, what did you see here from Nick Lodolo? Would you throw him right back into the lineup against the Nationals this week?
Nationals have also been tough against lefties. That was who Robby Snelling struggled against in his first start. I think they're better, or they're not as good as the Astros, certainly. And on the whole, I don't see much reason to be too concerned about Nick Lodolo. The curveball wasn't very effective, only one whiff, but that can just happen sometimes without it necessarily meaning anything moving forward. So I'm inclined to just view Nick Lodolo like I did before the season when he was, certainly a top 50 starting pitcher and probably closer to 40. So I think I'm comfortable getting him back in the starting lineup. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Blake Snell. I feel like this one was kind of surprising that they just called him up and they're like, hey, you're back in the rotation because Tyler Glasnow's hurt. He was not great in his debut here. From a surface level perspective, 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, but 16 whiffs on 77 pitches. That is massive. The velocity all look good here. Pitch mix looked pretty normal for Blake Snell. He threw 65% of his pitches for strikes. So while the overall line here, Scott, was not good, I think if I have Blake Snell, I am absolutely throwing him out there against the Angels this week.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure because of the way 2025 played out and 2024 played out and 2023 played out and 2022 also doesn't go that far back. It looks like 2022 also. So there's been a 4-year stretch here where it was nothing but bad starts and then a switch flips and it's nothing but good starts. And so my approach with Blake Snell, and I admit this sounds kind of stupid, but it's just relying on history. It's worked in the past. Okay, he had a bad start. Yeah, he's a talented pitcher, so some of the underlying stuff looks good, but it was a bad start. Until he has that good start, I'm going to try to sit him. Now, I have him in an NL only. Like, obviously going to start him there because what's the alternative? But in leagues where there are reasonable alternatives, I think I'm content to wait till I see the first good start and then know, okay, the good stretch is coming here from Blake Snell. That's how I think I'm going to do it. I don't know, Chris. Does that sound crazy to you, Chris?
You gotta break the tie, Chris.
Look,
I say start Snell. Chris says no.
I don't think there's much rhyme or reason to Blake Snell. Like, when he's good, when he's bad, it kind of defies analysis. It's sort of like I'm sure we'll talk about with Jesus Luzardo and Gavin Williams, where it's just they go through stretches where they have it, they go through stretches where they don't have it, and the matchup and everything else doesn't matter. But I think you drafted Blake Snell because you think he's good at baseball, and I didn't see any reason in this start to think he's not good. The Angels aren't a scary matchup, so yeah, I'm going to start him.
All right, let's go.
I thought Chris was going to go with me on that one.
Team Snell.
Well, you did say it was stupid.
You didn't.
What am I
You
gonna
could
be
have
like,
put yourself in the stupid column.
Scott can call me stupid too. No, you can call yourself stupid. I'm not
Fair
taking
enough.
that stray.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about Carlos Rodon, who struggled to throw strikes here at the Brewers. 4 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 5 walks to 4 strikeouts. The velocity way up. He was, amped up for this one. He threw just 54% of his pitches for strikes. He looked great first time through the order, but then once he got to the 4th inning, everything kind of collapsed there for him. Chris, what'd you see here from Carlos Rodon? Do you start him at the Mets this week?
Yeah. The Mets have been bad enough, and I thought his stuff looked very good. The one thing that I did notice during his rehab assignment, and it was one of the Yankees, he's a Yankees blogger who commented on it that I follow, who said something like, the Yankees' approach during these rehab assignments is not really about results. They want these guys just kind of getting their pitches in, throwing strikes, not laboring. And so, the fact that he came out and walked 5 in 4 1/3 innings is a little frustrating, but velocity was up across the board. Stuff looked good. I'm not really all that concerned about Carlos Rodon moving forward. The Mets have not been a scary lineup, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start him this week. And frankly, I have Carlos Rodon in a bunch of leagues, a lot more than I don't think I have Blake Snell in any, so I'd actually that is a theoretical exercise. But Carlos Rodon, I'm going to have to actually go through and make these decisions, and we'll see what it comes out to. It's possible I just end up sitting him, but I lean towards starting Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, I would go the same way with that, lean toward it, but maybe if I have good alternatives, sit him until I'm confident he's totally back to himself. I think it's going to be interesting watching the trade-off between velocity and strike throwing for Rodon since the velocity was up across the board in this start. Obviously, he was great last year with the velocity he had. It was the best year we'd seen from Rodon in a while. And he talked about, he basically said the same thing after this start is like, I don't care how hard I'm throwing if I'm not throwing strikes. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes with Rodon. I don't know that he necessarily needs to be up 1.5 mile per hour across the board. But, you know, he was pitching through that elbow issue all of last year. So that the drop in velocity last year may have been more health related than about command.
All right, let's take our final break. When we return, we'll talk waiver wire options from the weekend. We'll talk starter sit decisions as well. We'll do that right after this.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
I now know why Monty was so stressed.
What's the plan here?
Landman. New season now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back in Fantasy Baseball. Today, let's talk waiver wire hitters. And Travis Bazzana had a huge game on Friday, 1 for 4 with a sock and 2 shoes, a homer, 2 steals. It was his first career home run. He has 7 steals in his first 11 games. He is only hitting 194, but entering Sunday, that came with a 296 expected batting average and a 92.7 average exit velocity. So 73% rostered. Scott, I'm pretty excited about what we are seeing from Travis Bazzana so far.
I mean, if he's going to run this much, it makes for such a high floor. If he's going to run this much and he's going to strike out less than 20% of the time, I'd say if he was striking out less than 25% of the time and he's running this much, it's probably going to go pretty well. Pull air rates in the blue, so that's not ideal, but you know,
that wasn't good in AAA either.
Right. And it seemed like he had kind of gotten away from doing that to for as hard as he's hitting the ball, it might be okay. Like there might still be a decent power production, even if he's not pulling the ball in the air a ton. But really, it's about the steals. It's about the plate discipline. I think we have an obvious number 13, or is it number 14 now that Tatis is eligible at second base? No, South Stewart picked it up. Yeah. So yeah, I think we have an obvious number 14 in the second base rankings, which means that in leagues without a middle infield spot, everybody should be pretty good there.
Bryce Eldridge is on the board with his first home run. He homered on Saturday off of Braxton Ashcraft. He's already made 2 appearances at first base, so 3 more, and he'll gain first base eligibility on CBS. Chris, how would you just rank the prospect hitters that have been called up in recent weeks? So just like in a vacuum, Bazzana, Eldridge, Waldschmidt, Spencer Jones.
Okay. Bazzana, Waldschmidt, Eldridge, Jones, I think is how I would put them. Yeah.
Yep. I think that makes sense. Couple multi-position bats here. Ernie Clement had a huge game on Saturday, 5 for 5 with his second home run. He's second, third, and shortstop eligible. Brooks Lee continues to just do some interesting things, make things happen here. He went 2 for 3 with a run, RBI, and a steal on Sunday. He has multiple hits in 4 of his last 6 games. The batting average is up to 276. He's got 5 homers, 24 RBI, 3 steals. Also second, third, and shortstop eligible. Scott, who do you like more between those multi-position guys, Ernie Clement or Brooks Lee?
I think Brooks Lee might be a little more usable in fantasy. There's just such clear limits to Clement's power ceiling. And Lee, I mean,
Clement's just a one category guy.
Right. And Lee's data, the StatCast data looks pretty bad. But it always has, even in the minor leagues when he was a pretty highly regarded prospect. He might just be one of those middle infielders who produces above that. I don't think the ceiling's especially high, but he's homered at a decent rate so far. He's stolen some bases while Clement hasn't really. So I think I'm a little more interested in Lee, but they're both deep league options as far as I'm concerned.
Couple names in 5 outfielder leagues. JJ Bleday continues to impress, 1 for 2 with 2 RBI and a steal here on Sunday. He has started 12 straight games for the Reds. And Luke Raley, monster game on Friday, 2 for 5 with a double dong, 7 RBI in that one. Scott, who's higher on your sleeper hitter list? I know they're both on the list. Is it JJ Bleday or Luke Raley for this week?
It's Bleday. I have Raley and I have Dominic Canzone, both low on the sleeper hitters list. It was hard to leave them off because the Mariners have the best hitter matchups. They're one of 4 teams playing 7 games, and it's all righties. But what I've noticed with Raley and especially Canzone is, okay, great, they start against the righty. As soon as the lefty comes in, they're getting pinch hit for. So it makes it hard to it seems like the circumstances couldn't favor them possibly anymore this week. But it's still like I remain skeptical that they're going to be that impactful for fantasy just because they're removed so often.
The question I have with Bleday, he started 12 games straight. Only 1 has been against a lefty.
Yep.
So that's still like, is this guy an everyday player? I think he might be, and I think there are reasons to be excited about what JJ Bleday is doing.
Yeah.
His bat speed is up significantly.
3.5 miles per hour. Yeah.
And his exit velocities are way up. Quality of contact is way up. It's one of those things where you can't just look at his bat speed is up, ergo he's going to be better, because that impacts your swing decisions and your ability to adjust to pitches. But that hasn't been an issue for him. He's only striking out like 15% of the time.
Triple A, he was awesome.
I'm pretty excited about JJ Bleday right now.
And there are only 2 lefties on the schedule for the Reds, so I think it's fine to gamble on him, even if you were in a pinch in a 3 outfielder league. Would I rather start? Yeah, I added Waldschmidt to the sleeper hitters for this week because the Diamondbacks have the second best hitter matchups. They have a series at Coors Field, but I still have him below Bleday among sleeper hitters.
Mm-hmm. One very deep name for stolen bases. Esteury Ruiz had 4 steals this weekend, but he only started 1 of 3 games. I just don't really see how he's going to play enough, but he'll get in there as a pinch runner. And again, like NL only leagues where you're just chasing speed. I think Esteury Ruiz is a name there for you.
If Nasim Nunez isn't available.
It's kind of outfield version of Nasim Nunez, I guess you could say. Waiver wire pitchers, the first group, Logan Henderson, solid against the Yankees, 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts here on Sunday. He is at the Twins this week. Andrew Abbott, a very good outing against the Astros, 6 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts for him. Over his last 3 starts, 17 2/3, 2 runs, 14 strikeouts to 7 walks. He is at the Guardians this week. Foster Griffin, maybe he's just good. 7 innings, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts. He had 17 whiffs on 103 pitches. He's at the Reds this week. And Merrill Kelly bounced back against the Mets. 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts here, 13 whiffs on 96 pitches. Still allowed a lot of hard contact and walk 3. And he's at the Rockies this week. So it's probably a no this week for Merrill Kelly, but I still think he can get back to the pitcher that he's been in previous years. Scott, how would you rank this group? Logan Henderson, Andrew Abbott, Foster Griffin, and Merrill Kelly.
I would rank them definitely Logan Henderson 1, Merrill Kelly 2.
Gap.
Well, is it a gap? I mean, I was a little surprised people dropped Abbott.
Oh, okay, yeah, Abbott's fine, yeah.
I mean, I find Abbott annoying as an analyst, but he had put together 3 straight years where he was like, too bad, I'm just going to be good. So I was
overlooking him, yeah.
People gave up on him quickly. Now, Foster Griffin is doing a pretty good Andrew Abbott impression so far. He got a season high Friday. He got a season high 17 whiffs. That came on the heels of a season low 1 whiff in his previous start. But both of them were good. And he just gives up some of the weakest contact in baseball, 87.4 mile per hour average. And like he just keeps putting together good start after good start. The strikeout rate is pretty good despite a really low swinging strike rate. I don't have a lot of faith in him because he hasn't done it for 3 years like Andrew Abbott has, but he's kind of doing the same thing, and I think it wouldn't be so wrong to pick him up at this point.
So there are going to be a handful of other pitchers that we talk about today who we can say the same things about, basically. Justin Robleski had a weird start, but that's been his thing. Davis Martin, Bryce Elder, the thing about all of those guys, and there's a bunch of them. Tomoyuki Sagano was one of those guys until this week, and Foster Griffin is one of those guys right now, and I'm sure there's several others we can mention. The thing is, a couple of them are going to be good for like 2 months. That happens every year. There are a couple of guys who are just inexplicably good for a couple of months, and it's hard to say which one of them it will be. Some of them have already done it. Probably one will just be good inexplicably for most of the season. 2024 Seth Lugo, where it's just like he just pitched way over his head for a while. Figuring out which one of them it's going to be is basically impossible. You're betting on an outlier with any of them, and you always run the risk of what happened with Justin Robleski today.
Well, Robleski entered with 3.8 K per nine.
Right. But he's an extreme example, but Tomoyuki Sagano was pitching really well.
Sagano.
But we did this last year with Tomoyuki Sagano last year, and
because we didn't know what we were getting. He's in Colorado. He's a non-strikeout pitcher in Colorado.
Right. No. I understand, but my point is, when we say like, yeah, I don't really believe in it, but you can play the hot hand. It's like you can. You're inviting a lot of risk. Like if you don't believe a pitcher is good, but you're like, well, they're getting good results right now. It's like you are effectively saying at some point they're going to hurt my team. And I'm just hoping I can pull the ejection cord before they hurt.
I mean, the thing is, in a lot of these leagues, starting nothing but pitchers you believe in isn't an option.
Sure.
That's not true in every league. I mean, probably the shallower leagues that most people listening play in, maybe I have to trust they know if it's not worth picking up Foster Griffin, but it's like, do I choose between Foster Griffin or Brandon Sproat? I would go Griffin at this point.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Sure.
Moving on to the next group, Eduardo Rodriguez. He was great against the Mets. He finished 2 outs short of a complete game here. 8 1/3 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts to 3 walks. I can't really explain it, which means I probably would not bet on this lasting very long for Eduardo Rodriguez. And he is at the Rockies this week, so we don't like that. Ryan Nelson, I can't play the drop because he did not throw his fastball 60% of the time. It was 59%. But it was a good start for him. 6 2/3, 1 run, 7 strikeouts to 1 walk. And he is 49% rostered at the Rangers this week. So we do like that matchup. Michael McGreevy, a great outing at the Padres. 6 shutout innings with 9 strikeouts. That was a career high. I'm not really sure how we got to that point for Michael McGreevy. He is at the Athletics this week. And Mike Burrows, a great outing at the Reds. 7 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts. Perhaps starting to turn the corner a little bit here. Back-to-back quality starts here for Burrows, and he gets the Mariners this week. So, Chris, any of these names stand out to you? Mike Burrows, Michael McGreevy, Ryan Nelson, and Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think Ryan Nelson is pretty good.
I got to say.
I got
to say it for Ryan Nelson. I was stunned that he had such a good outing because how many fastballs he threw.
Yeah, he threw a bunch of other pitches today.
59%. He did not get to 60. It should not have worked. It was only 59.
I can't play the drop, Scott.
You can't because he defied all reason.
I would say of this group, I could take either Ryan Nelson or Mike Burrows as the best pitcher here. If you could give either Mike Burrows Ryan Nelson's fastball or give Ryan Nelson Mike Burrows everything but a fastball, dude, that guy'd be an ace. That guy would be really good because Mike Burrows' fastballs are bad, and and it's just he's trying to survive to get to 2 strikes so he can put guys away with the other pitches. I think they're both pretty good, though. I like both. I think they're both, like, Burrows had an awful start to the season, but he does a lot of things well. I think 30% rostered is too low. Does he need to be 100% rostered? Probably not either, but I do think 30% rostered is too low. I kind of feel like 50% rostered for Ryan Nelson, probably also too low.
Yeah, I think Ryan Nelson's better. I've been banging the drum for Ryan Nelson all season. I got to bang it again after a good start. Even though he threw only 59% fastballs, I think you're going to want him active more times than not.
I like the matchup this week, too. At Texas, no Wyatt Langford, although Langford pretty terrible this year. And in points leagues, he's a spark. The one thing that has scared me about Nelson's profile, he has given up a ton of hard contact. 91.2 average EV with a near 14% barrel rate. That is really, really bad. So at some point, we're going to need that to be better for Ryan Nelson. I assume you guys are not buying Eduardo Rodriguez, who had a great 2-start week, but now gets the Rockies in Coors Field this week.
I mean, even if he wasn't facing the Rockies, this feels like one of the more glaringly obvious, this guy's going to hurt your team at some point situations in baseball. And then at the Rockies, I think he's just straight up droppable.
Yep. Anything on Michael McGreevy, who had the career high 9 strikeouts? He had 17 whiffs on 94 pitches. He has 3 straight quality starts and a quality start in 5 of 8 outings this year. He's got a 2 ERA.
I was watching this start, and I really couldn't even figure out how he was getting all the strikeouts.
It could just be that the Padres are bad.
Yeah, because I think, wasn't the night before this one also a weirdly high strikeout start from some mediocre Cardinals pitcher?
I think Liberator.
Liberator had like 8 Ks or something against them. It's like, yeah, Padres kind of just aren't very good right now. I don't know. He's got a pretty good changeup, but I don't really see anything else for Michael McGreevy. I think we pretty much know what he is, and it's not a bat misser. It's a contact ground ball guy.
And then some deeper names here. Kader Montero continues to pitch well, this time at the Royals. 6 innings, 1 run, 4 strikeouts for him. He has allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in 6 of 7 starts. He's also giving up a lot of hard contact. Kader Montero at the Mets this week. Ben Brown pitched great in his spot start at the Rangers. 4 no-hit innings with 3 strikeouts. He had 9 whiffs on 46 pitches. Carmen Majinski, a tough loss at the Giants. 6 innings, 2 runs, only 1 strikeout. He gets the Rockies in Pittsburgh this week as a spark. I think that's kind of interesting in points leagues. And Ty Madden looked solid in bulk relief at the Royals. 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 strikeouts, 10 whiffs on 87 pitches. He's RP only. He's at the Mets this week. It's got some deeper names here. Ty Madden, Carmen Majinski, Ben Brown, Kader Montero. Anything stand out to you?
I think Ben Brown's good. I like the addition of the sinker this year to help round out his arsenal. He's got a good breaking ball. He no-hit the Rangers across 4 innings, so probably prepared to go 5 innings next time, and it won't be long before he's able to give us normal starter's length. And he's relief pitcher eligible, which helps in points leagues. I noticed he was already rostered in most of the Roto leagues. I think people were just enjoying the multi-inning relief appearances from him. But I'm excited about his move into the rotation, enough that I think he needs to be picked up in all leagues.
All right, let's take a look at some starter sit decisions at starting pitcher. Jesus Luzardo. Are you kidding me? Against the Rockies in Philadelphia? I understand, insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Like, Luzardo's going to have these starts where he gets beat up, and it's just, inevitable. He's inherently a volatile pitcher. But really, against the Rockies in Philadelphia? He also had 16 whiffs on 95 pitches, 79.8 average exit velocity. How did this start happen? Do we use him at the Red Sox this week?
I'm starting him.
Yeah. I think sit Luzardo at your own peril. It's
just so annoying.
It is. And I mean, like you said, he missed a ton of bats. He allowed some of the weakest contact I've seen from any pitcher this season. So it's if you're going to play fantasy baseball, you just got to learn to shrug off starts like this. It's just...
And it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
4 of his 8 starts so far this season have just been terrible. There's just no way around that. Like, it's been really bad. But, I don't know. I was thinking about this with, like, Gavin Williams, who I think is sort of similar to Luzardo. We've gotten, we had this great start to the season. 2 of the last 3 starts have been bad. And I was just trying to think of, like, how I conceive of them in my mental model. And obviously, I'm not a Gavin Williams fan. Anyone listening should know that. And so I think Jesus Luzardo is a good pitcher who is just prone to unusually bad starts a few times a year. Gavin Williams, I think, is more just a high variance pitcher. And I do think there's a difference between that, where Luzardo, I think, will just be good the rest of the way. That's not to say he'll never have a bad start, but I feel very confident that Jesus Luzardo is going to be good moving forward. Well, more often than not. Williams, it's just kind of random number generator. Like, does he have it that day or doesn't he? In a way that I think is distinct from Luzardo, even though they're somewhat similar.
Let's talk quickly about Gavin Williams. He's 91% started on CBS, so I don't think it's really like a start or sit question, but he has allowed 5+ earned runs in back-to-back starts in 3 of his last 4. He also had 24 swinging strikes in this start.
Right. So did he have it or didn't he have it?
You tell me.
Yeah.
Scott, are you losing confidence at all in Gavin?
No. I mean, yeah. Yes. No. Hang on. Let me start over. No, I am not losing confidence. Yes, it was his 3rd start in 4 with 5 earned runs or more, taking his ERA from 2.12 to 3.74. He still has just a 1.17 whip. He still has a career high swinging strike rate and strikeout rate. He still has a career best strike percentage and walk rate. So career high strikeout rate, career low walk rate. I don't know that I need to dig into it much more than that. Like, okay, 3 of his last 4 starts weren't the best. He wasn't going to sustain a 2.12 ERA all year. He still had 24 whiffs in this one. Like, he's a good pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of his peripherals are like 4 ERA or worse. I guess the FIP did. Funny enough, the FIP actually went down below 4 for the first time this season today.
I mean, career high strikeout rate and career low walk rate.
Yeah.
So he should have better ERA estimators than he's ever had before, just by virtue of that. I mean, maybe not xERA because he allows hard contact, but the others should love him.
Yeah. Gets hit hard.
Okay.
No, I mean, xFIP does because it's assuming that his
So he's
high home
getting up
run
too
rate
many
is
home
a fluke, but
Yeah.
if you go by xERA, he's getting hit really, really hard. And that's the weird thing, because stuff is as much correlated with limiting hard contact as it is with strikeouts, like the stuff plus metrics. And so he's a weird guy who gets hit really hard despite having good stuff. So I don't quite know what to make of it, but I don't know. Gavin was just a headache. I'm not a fan.
Don't think about it so much, man. Misses a lot of bats. He's not walking anybody.
I think
Or at least he's not walking as many
Yeah, he's
people as he
walking
usually
10% of he's walking 10% of opposing hitters. It's still a lot.
I still think if you have Gavin Williams, you can't try to play the do I start or sit him. I think you just got to play him all the time and take the good.
And I think you're going to be happy in the end. I think this 3.74 ERA that he has right now is going to be one of the highest points it reaches all season. I'm not going to say it never goes higher than this, but I think in the ups and downs, looking back, we'll say, oh, when we're charting, the putting the dots on the chart, it'll be one of the high points the ERA reached.
Let's get back to starter sit pitchers. And Kyle Bradish took a tough loss against the Athletics. 7 innings, 3 runs, 10 strikeouts there. He had 15 whiffs on 96 pitches. And keeping the walks down, I think, is key for him. This was just his 2nd start this year, under 3 walks in 8 outings. He gets the Yankees this week, so not a great matchup. Chris, starter sit Kyle Bradish.
I'm probably starting him. It's very much a better version of what I said with Mike Burrows earlier, though, where it's fastballs have been pretty bad this season, and he's missing a lot of bats with the secondaries, and it's just, can he command the fastballs better? I mean, he kind of needs to command everything better more consistently, but specifically, he needs to get himself in situations where he's not pitching from behind on everything, and He did a better job of that in this one. So I'm, generally feeling a little better about him, but we need to see more than one good start because I think this is the first good start from Kyle Bradish this season, or first unequivocally good start, let's say. And even that was 3 earned runs in 7 innings.
Yep. This was probably the start he was sat most widely.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
So he made a point to throw his curveball more in this one, he said. He's like, curveball's been my best pitch. I need to emphasize it. He did it. He got the results. Hopefully he sticks with it. But I like that he is going about it that way, He also said he was doing some stuff with his lower half to try and keep more weight on his back leg, be more linear down the mound. So, he's working on stuff. But if nothing else, I like that he realizes curveball's best pitch. It worked for him throwing it more in this one.
Connolly early had his best start of the season, 7 shutout innings with a season-high 8 strikeouts in this one. I did notice the walk rate is up. The swinging strike rate is way down so far this year. I still like the pitcher Connolly early long-term. He's 83% rostered. He's 45% started. At the Braves this week, they're 3rd in WOBA against lefties. I think you can get away from using Connolly early this week, if you have a better option.
Yeah, I don't think he's a must-start guy in a 1-start week, no.
Yeah.
His swinging strike rate is half of what it was last year.
Yep.
I had dropped him in one of my shallower leagues prior to this start. Now I kind of wish I didn't, but still, it's been kind of discouraging.
Yep, it has not been a great season for him.
Tanner Bybee, a great outing against the Twins. 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 20 whiffs on 98 pitches. So one of the best starts we've seen from Bybee this year. He gets the Reds this week. He's 79% roster. He's might have been dropped in some shallower formats. What do you guys think about using Bybee against the Reds at home?
I think he's fine. It's not great, but I think he's fine. Reds on the road aren't a terrible matchup, so that's fine.
Yeah. Weird start for Justin Robleski against the Braves here on Sunday. He finished 1 out short of a complete game, 7 runs allowed over 8 2/3 innings, 2 homers allowed. And even the weirder part is that he actually got whiffs in this one. He had 14 whiffs on 100 pitches, but it was a lot of hard contact. He's at the Angels this week. He's 70% started, so most people who have picked up Robleski are just kind of throwing him out there. What do you make of this start? Do you use him at the Angels this week?
A lot of regression happened here in this start, and they just wanted to save the bullpen, it seemed like. So they just let him keep going. No, I would not use Robleski except under duress.
He gave up 4 earned runs in the 2nd inning. And then I think the next 5 innings were scoreless. He struck out 7. Then I think he gave up a homer in the 8th and 2 more runs in the 9th before finally getting pulled. I think the last pitch he threw was his 100th pitch. He hit a guy in the head. That's just a weird start in just about every way for Justin Robleski. But look, I think everything we were talking about earlier, where you start these guys with the terrible peripherals and not getting any strikeouts, and you just hope they don't burn you before you drop them. Well, Justin Robleski just did. I think that can be a sign to pull the eject cord and get out there.
What's his roster rate at this point?
86%.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and look, the thing is, I would guess most people didn't start him his first 3 starts of the season. He was super low rostered. If you just started him for his last 4, you got a 2.60 ERA out of him, even with this start. So take your win, and don't let it get any worse, because the way he's pitching this season, the lack of strikeouts.
How much did the ERA go up with this start?
3/4 of a run, I think, for the season.
Right, but I'm saying over that shorter span of time when they rostered him. They may have already lost the gains.
I think the last 4 starts, it's 260. If you take this one out, I think he'd only given up 2 runs in the previous 3 starts. So
and he's given you no strikeouts. Part of it, he's 5 and I guess he's now 5-1. He was 5-0, and so it's wins, points. But yeah, it's not going to end well.
Yep. Some pitching leftovers. Part 1, Jacob Misiorowski was ridiculous against the Yankees.
Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome!
Loved him in the real world.
He was awesome. 6 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts, 16 whiffs on 95 pitches, 11 on that fastball. You think he was excited to face the Yankees? His velocity was up 1.6 miles per hour. He averaged 101 and had 10 fastballs, 103 miles per hour or more. He has been awesome. He also leads baseball with 70 strikeouts. Dylan Cease, amazing against the Angels, 7 shutout with 10 strikeouts for him. He has gone 7 innings in back-to-back starts. He has double-digit strikeouts in 3 of 8. Chris Sale, a tough loss at the Dodgers, 7 innings, 3 runs, 2 of those earned with 7 strikeouts to 0 walks. His velocity was up in this one as well. Joe Ryan pitched well after leaving his previous start with an elbow injury. He was at the Guardians, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. And the velocity was actually up slightly. So I think that is a good sign there for Joe Ryan. Chris, any thoughts here on Ryan, Sale, Dylan Cease, and The Miz?
I'm starting to think The Miz just needs to be ranked with Nolan McLean and Cam Schlittler as a top 15 starting pitcher. I know I still have my concerns about his ability to stay healthy, a little bit of concern about his ability to throw strikes consistently, although that's been improved this season. I'm going to have that conversation with my pal Chris when I do rankings this week and see how high I can get him. The
just
other one,
in the mirror, like you will rank.
Just looking at myself in the mirror. Yeah. I also saw one of those graphics that was like a little screenshot, like a mug of the 60 fastest pitches thrown by a starting pitcher this season. They did the player's mug shot for every one of them, and it was just 60 pictures of Jacob Misiorowski.
Oh,
which is pretty bonkers. It's Hunter Green's hurt. That would probably be the guy who could, but he is operating on a different level. He averaged 101 with his fastball in this start. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Pitching leftovers part 2, Michael Wacha, a great outing against the Tigers, 7 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts. More strikeouts than swinging strikes. Seems kind of fluky there.
The walk away.
Cam Schlittler was great again, this time at the Brewers, 6 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts for him. Braxton Ashcraft at the Giants, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts to 0 walks. Christopher Sanchez was great against the Rockies. Wish Luzardo did that. 7 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts. Last 2 starts for Sanchez, 14 2/3, 2 runs, 17 strikeouts to 4 walks. He is back, baby. Scott, anything here on Sanchez, Ashcraft, Schlittler, and Wacha?
So I thought this Ashcraft start was added an extra layer of encouragement in that he really didn't have his best pitch, the curveball. It had 2 less inches of drop. It was 59 degrees, which may have had something to do with it, the temperature, 59 degrees. But the curveball didn't throw it as much because it had 2 less inches of drop. And that's a pitch with a 46% whiff rate usually. It's best swing and best pitch. And yet, in spite of that, he still had 6 strikeouts in 7 innings. He still had 12 whiffs on 80 pitches. I think he's really good. I think is he the biggest pitching breakout this year? Because
Soriano.
I think he's bigger than Soriano, though.
Messick?
Messick. I mean, it's close between those two. I feel like Messick's given a little back. Ashcraft is more
Bryce
consistently
Elder?
pitching deep into games. And the thing about, Ashcraft was hardly drafted.
Yeah.
And that's I've been raving
Jose
about
Soriano
Ashcraft
is
all
not.
year. I don't have any Ashcraft because I didn't notice this until the season started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's disappointing. But yeah, I really like him.
Pitching leftovers, part 3, Jose Soriano back on track against the Blue Jays, 7 2/3, 1 run, 7 strikeouts to 1 walk. It's his first quality start since April 12th. Logan Gilbert, much better here at the White Sox, 6 shutout innings with a season high 9 strikeouts. Davis Martin continues to impress this time against the Mariners on the other side. 6 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 19 whiffs on 105 pitches here. and doing it with more than just the slider. So pretty encouraging start here from Davis Martin. And Jacob deGrom, a great start against the Cubs. 7 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts, 23 whiffs on 94 pitches. Chris, anything to add on deGrom, Martin, Gilbert, and Jose Soriano?
I don't understand what's happening with Davis Martin. It confuses me. It scares me. This is one of those situations where you have a pitcher who is breaking out, who is mostly earning what they're doing. This is not a 4 FIP, 2 ERA guy. This is a 160 ERA, 235 FIP guy. So he's overperforming a little bit. The xERA similar, but it's directionally correct. I just don't really believe in it. Before this start, it was a 60% whiff rate and a 47% put away pitch on rate on his slider, which is just you might see that for one reliever per year, but that is an outlier number for any pitcher, let alone a guy that I don't think we think has the best slider in baseball. So there was going to be regression. We saw it today. He didn't have the slider working as well. And all of a sudden he gets 8 whiffs on his 4-seamer out of nowhere. That's not a particularly good pitch. It had an 18-20% strike or whiff rate coming into the start. So he just keeps finding ways to do it. This is one of those ones where there's a difference between, is his success fluky so far? No, I think he's earning his success. Is it sustainable? I think probably not. If you gave me a 4.0 ERA the rest of the way and told me to take over under, I think I'd lean over for Davis Martin. That's what he's been his whole career. He's 29 years old. But we are seeing he's pitching really well. I just don't really buy it. I need a longer track record than 8 starts before I start to buy it. That's not to say, he's 100% rostered, and he should be. But I do think you should view Davis Martin as a sell-high candidate if anyone's buying, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's someone who's never done this before. Look, he has added the cutter this year, and I think that's kind of helped other things play up. But, yeah, he's kind of doing it in different ways every start. So it would be nice to see, we can just pinpoint this one thing that is helping Davis Martin achieve this, which...
It's kind of like Bryce Elder, where the peripherals actually largely back up Bryce Elder's performance so far this season. I just don't buy that the peripherals are going to stay that good forever. And I don't know if you guys watched Bryce Elder start today, but he, I think, walked the bases loaded at one point. Max Muncy hit a ball 108 feet to the warning track that the who was playing right field for the Braves?
It was Robert Suarez who gave up that.
Yeah, but whoever was playing,
Eli White.
Eli White smashed face first into the outfield wall. There was another one, I think, runners on first and second. Again, Max Muncy hit 107, I think, in the first or second inning, right at the first baseman. Max Muncy he had to hit 110 miles an hour to actually get a hit today, but he had a late home run in that game. But Elder, I felt, got pretty lucky in this one, even though he struck out 8.
Prior to walking the bases loaded, he had allowed 2 base runners.
Yep, it was 8 strikeouts to 1 walk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Some hitting leftovers. Kyle Schwarber is on one of those runs right now. He has 5 home runs in his past 4 games, including 2 on Sunday. He is tied for the league lead with 16 home runs. Another big weekend for Byron Buxton. He had 6 hits, 2 homers, and a steal. He's up to 13 homers, 30 runs, and 3 steals this year. Brent Rooker, he's coming around a little bit. He homered on Saturday. He has 2 home runs in his past 4 games. Kyle Stowers is on the board, 3 for 4 with his first home run of the season on Saturday. He's still 93% rostered on CBS, but 75% on Yahoo. So if you play on Yahoo, just maybe check to see if Kyle Stowers is available. Miguel Vargas continued his breakout, 2 for 3 with a double dong on Saturday, and O'Neal Cruz 1 for 5 with a sock and a shoe on Sunday. His 10th home run, his 15th stolen base of the season. The call to the bullpen for the Athletics on Friday. Joel Kuhnel got the 8th inning with a 2-run lead. He was facing 9-1-2 in the Orioles lineup. Jack Perkins did get the 9th in a save opportunity. He allowed a run on a walk and a hit And then it was lefty Hogan Harris who came on to get the final out for his second save. So don't love the fact that Jack Perkins had a chance here to kind of like, I guess, solidify or further solidify himself as the closer, and they pulled him. So not great. For the Dodgers on Friday, Tanner Scott picked up his third save. He pretty much looks like the guy while Edwin Diaz is out hurt. For the Reds on Saturday, a 2-run lead. Pierce Johnson got the 9th inning with a 2-run lead. I just said that. Picked up his first save. Graham Ashcraft pitched the 8th inning. Tony Santillan got rocked on Friday. He gave up 4 earned runs, 2 homers allowed without recording an out. Do you guys have any deep league interest in Pierce Johnson as maybe the Reds' save source while Emilio Pagan is hurt?
I would still prioritize Santillan over him. I mean, it stood to reason they weren't going to let Santillan pitch the day after he allowed 4 earned runs. So I think like he's a much better pitcher than Pierce Johnson. So I like it actually worked out in some of those deeper leagues where saves are scarce. I was able to pick up Santillan for modest number of dollars because this outing happened to line up the way it did. The one hesitation would be, if you remember last spring, Terry Francona had a quote where, I'm not going to quote it exactly right, but he said Santillan would be the obvious choice to close. But it sounded like he liked him in more of like a more flexible role than that. And that's how he ended up with Emilio Pagan closing. So like at that point in time, a year ago, Francona basically said, Santillan, I know Santillan's our best reliever, but I don't want to lock him into the 9th inning. So maybe he'll take that approach again, and Johnson will end up being the guy. Doesn't seem like Ashcraft is, because Ashcraft preceded Johnson on Saturday, and he was also used on Sunday prior to the 9th, I believe. But yeah, I'm still betting on Santillan over Johnson.
Santillan does have a pretty good track record of just being a solid reliever in his career, but like there are some bad things this year. Like his walk percentage is 13%. It's up over 5 walks per 9. He's allowing a lot of hard contact, and his swinging strike rate down from 12% to 7.6%. So he's got to figure something out. He's got to pitch better, especially after that blow up outing on Friday. I think the next save will go to Pierce Johnson, but yeah, I mean, it could also just be like a mix and match situation there. For the Nationals on Sunday, Gus Varlin got the 8th inning with the game tied. He allowed 3 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. He took his first loss. Nationals, another bullpen where they mix and match a lot. I still would probably bet on Varlin getting the next save opportunity for them. For the Orioles on Sunday, Rico Garcia picked up his 3rd save. He looks like the guy while Ryan Helsley is out. For the Rays on Sunday, Brian Baker allowed a hit and a walk, but he picked up his 10th save. He mostly is the Rays closer. For the Angels on Sunday, Ryan Zefferjohn got the 9th inning with a 5-run lead. He struck out 2 to close out the game. And I think he's the guy for the Angels right now. Yeah. Ryan Zefferjohn.
Yeah, it does seem that way. They don't get many save chances, but they've been using him in the 9th a lot, even in non-save chances.
Yeah, he's I think the biggest velocity gainer in baseball this season. His velocity's way up, so I think Zefferjohn's okay.
For the Rangers on Sunday, Jacob Latch tossed 2 perfect innings for his 4th save. 56% rostered. He looks like the Rangers closer for now. To stream or not to stream on Monday, just a 6-game slate. So gonna see what I cook up for Monday night. Joey Cantillo against the Angels. Peter Lambert against the Mariners. Trevor McDonald at the Dodgers. Roki Sasaki against the Giants. Brandon Young against.
I could see Roki Sasaki having a good start, but I'm not going to bet on it. I could see Pete Lambert's done some moderately interesting things. Same with Joey Cantillo, but I don't think any of these guys are worth trusting. I guess Cantillo's probably the best of them, but I want to see he had more walks and strikeouts his most recent start. It was actually a decent start if I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, I don't have very much faith in him now.
If I had to choose, I would probably put Cantillo and Lambert at the top for Monday. And then on Tuesday, we have Walbert Arena at the Guardians. We have Brady Singer against the Nationals, Patrick Corbin against the Rays, Jack Flaherty at the Mets, Colin Ray at the Braves, Grant Holmes against the Cubs, Stephen Kolek at the White Sox, Eric Fitty against the Royals, Billy Ober against the Marlins, Zach Gallen at the Rangers, Jeffrey Springs against the Cardinals.
I like Springs against the Cardinals.
I don't hate Flaherty, but I don't love it.
Yeah, it feels very boomer bust.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really want to recommend any of these others. Yeah. I might say Gallen at Texas as my second choice.
He did get a bunch of whiffs in his last start, and just Texas could ballpark to pitch in. So yeah, probably would say Springs, Gallen, and if I had to choose a third, Bailey Ober against the Marlins, I guess. But
yeah. I think I agree.
All right, we're going to wrap there. For Scott, Chris, I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning into Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.